Welcome, everybody. Cheers. We're going to do a deep dive into the Song of Solomon, or also known as the Song of Songs, or as some of us refer to it just as songs. The Song of Songs, Love Talk. What is a song about sex with no mention of God doing in the Bible? That's a question that people of faith, Jews and Christians alike, have been asking for more than 2,000 years. Most believers in ancient times couldn't handle what many scholars today insist is the truth about this book, and the truth is that it's an erotic celebration of love between a man and a woman who graphically praise the physical features of each other and trade fantasies about lovemaking. Though their words aren't obscene, they are unapologetically sensual. Too sensual, it seems, for most believers until the 1800s. Until then, most read the book as an allegory. They thought the symbolic meaning was more important than the literal meaning. For many Jews, the song was a symbol of God's love for Israel. The man in the story is God, the woman is Israel. The bedroom is the land now called Israel. The kissing is God giving Israel the laws they're to follow, and the woman's confession of having black skin is Israel's confession of sin, worshiping idols. And on this side note, Black and Beautiful, in an erotic poem, two lovers confess their most intimate desires for each other, exchanging compliments and occasionally bragging about themselves. I am black and beautiful, the woman says. Ah, you are beautiful, her lover agrees. And that's Song of Songs 1:5 and 1:15. Christians did much the same thing, with the man usually representing Jesus. Even John Wesley, a preacher in the late 1700s who became the father of the Methodist Church, insisted that the song could not with decency refer to a literal man and woman. This book is to be understood allegorically concerning that spiritual love in marriage which is between Christ and his church. Only in the 1800s did Bible experts start tiptoeing away from the allegorical interpretation. The bedroom is real, they began arguing. So is the kissing, and so are the breast. Most Bible experts today seem to agree. What remains confusing is the storyline. Many don't see one. They see just a collection of love songs, a bit like the best of Johnny Mathis, but in this case, the best of King Solomon. Yet, other experts see plot possibilities. 1. Solomon picks a country girl as a bride, but she rejects him for her country boy. 2. Solomon is the country boy, so he gets the girl after all. 3. Country girl falls in love with country boy, and she sees her man as kingly, every bit as regal as Solomon. Okay, the main point of this book, love between a husband and wife, is something to celebrate and enjoy both in words and in sexual intimacy. And that's actually what I got from this. The writer, this is Solomon's Song of Songs, more wonderful than any other Song of Songs. But most Bible experts say they doubt Solomon wrote the book for several reasons. One, the first verse seems to act like a title added later by an editor compiling the songs as editors did with many psalms. Two, in Hebrews, the byline is phrased vaguely of Solomon that could mean it's by him or it's for him, perhaps for one of his weddings, or it's about him, though there's little mention of him afterward. 3. Some of the phrasing seemed to come from hundreds of years after Solomon. Many Bible experts say this book is probably a collection of poetry and love songs used in wedding celebrations. Others say a single writer wrote it, perhaps a woman. That's because the starring female character is the song, and the song speaks 61 of the 116 verses, more than the starring male of the minor characters. Many students of the Bible take the traditional approach, arguing that Solomon wrote the song. Among the supporting evidence, names of cities in the song fit the time of Solomon. Before the nation split in two, the writer talks about many exotic spices, plants, and jewels, which fits this era when Solomon was trading with countries throughout the Middle East and Africa. Also, this genre of writing is similar to the songs the Egyptians were writing at and before the time of Solomon. The date is unknown. Solomon ruled from about 970 to 930 BC. The location, Israel. The lovers mention many locations in Israel, such as Jerusalem, the coastal plains of Sharon, and Mount Hermon. Looking good. Song of Songs 116. You are so handsome, my love, pleasing beyond words. A lovesick man and woman pummel each other with compliments. Their dialogue reads like a how-to manual for couples who don't know how to put their love into words. Compliments from the gentleman. You are beautiful, my darling, beautiful beyond words. Your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your lips are like scarlet ribbon. Your mouth is inviting. Your breasts are like two fawns, twin fawns of a gazelle grazing among the lilies. Song of Songs 4, 1, 3, and 5. Compliments from the lady. His body is like bright ivory, glowing with lapis lazuli. His legs are like marble pillars set in sockets of finest gold. His posture is stately like the noble cedars of Lebanon. His mouth is sweetness itself. He is desirable in every way. Song of Songs 5, 14 through 16. Here Comes the Groom. Song of Songs 3:7. Look, it is Solomon's carriage. The woman has what some Bible experts say is a dream, a nightmare ending in a delightful fantasy. The lady in love waits in bed for her lover, but he never comes, so she ventures out into the darkness to look for him, asking village guards if they've seen him. She eventually finds him and takes him home to the same bed where her mother conceived her. The implication is that she's going to follow her mother's example, if not by conceiving, at least by making love. What follows in the same chapter is a description of Solomon's wedding party storming into the village with a huge entourage, including 60 bodyguards. It's a song completely unrelated to the previous dream section. Some scholars say, yet it fits nicely into at least one possible timeline. The bride-to-be dreams of making love, and here comes her groom ready to wed. The king drives an import, a chariot crafted of wood from Lebanon. It's likely the best available builder's wood, cedar. This chariot is loaded, trimmed in gold and silver, and padded in cushions, colored with the most expensive dye, purple. The king has no air conditioning and wears no deodorant because neither is available in the ancient desert nation. But he smells great, lathered in the sweet scents of imported perfume, frankincense, and myrrh. Many Bible experts say the groom isn't really Solomon. Instead, the ladies telling this part of the story are complimenting the country boy groom. He may be riding a rat-eared donkey instead of an imported chariot. His entourage may include only his family and a few goat herder friends, and he may smell like sheep dip, but to his waiting bride he's regal, and she couldn't love him anymore if he were the king himself. Now, on this side note, John Wesley's code key to the song. Like most church leaders during Christianity's first 1800 years, Methodist founder John Wesley taught that the Song of Songs was not about a couple in love. Writing commentaries in the 1700s, Wesley said the song symbolizes spiritual love between Jesus and the church. Here's part of the code key Wesley used to explain what he said the book was really talking about. It's from his commentary, John Wesley Notes on the Song of Solomon. The Bible description: young woman, symbolic meaning church. Young man, the symbolic meaning Jesus. The Bible description of kisses, the symbolic meaning any unusual tokens of God's love. The Bible description for black skin, the symbolic meaning a person contemptible and deformed. The Bible description, the man lying between the woman's breast, symbolic meaning a description of the church's intimate union and hearty affection to Christ. The Bible description of bed, the symbolic meaning whether believers enjoy sweet fellowship with Christ. The Bible description, Solomon's 60-man bodyguard, symbolic meaning angels and others God used to protect his church. The Bible description for Solomon's chariot, the symbolic meaning the word of Christ preached by ministers. The Bible description, the woman's lovely neck, symbolic meaning faith. It unites the church with Jesus. Rational, the Bible sometimes calls the church the body of Christ, and Jesus the head of the church. The neck connects the body and head. The Bible description, lips as sweet as nectar. The symbolic meaning, prayer and praise. And the Bible description, a little sister too young to have breast. Symbolic meaning, big sister is the early church dominated by Jews. Little sister is the latter church dominated by non-Jews called Gentiles. There's that list if you want to look at it. I don't know if I actually agree with John Wesley, but because I do know Solomon was very promiscuous. I mean, if you see the number of wives and concubines this guy had, I would probably say it's about, his passion for women, and it could be a song for one of his wives. Passion Fire, Song of Songs 7:7-8. Young man, you are slender like a palm tree, and your breasts are like its clusters of fruit. I will climb the palm tree and take hold of its fruit. If in fact the Song of Songs is an allegory, as most Christian scholars taught for the first 1800 years, imagine God saying something like this to the nation of Israel, or Jesus saying something like this to the church. It is the allegorical interpretation that's what would be going on. This would be a dialogue between God and his beloved people about the spiritual love they share for one another. But most of today's scholars say that's the wrong way to interpret this passage. They admit there are allegories in the Bible. Paul creates one when he tells the Galatians that Abraham's two wives symbolize God's two covenants. Hagar, the slave wife, represented Israel's binding obligation to the Jewish laws, the Old Covenant, but Sarah, the freeborn wife, represented freedom from Jewish laws, the New Covenant, and that's Galatians 4:21-26. Galatians 4:21-26. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. But he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was by promise. Which things are in allegory, for these are the two covenants, that the one from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Yet the Song of Songs, most experts today agree, is simply a celebration of love, which is what I got from it. And this celebration is expressed no more sensually than in the final 2 chapters of the book. It sounds as though the couple is on their honeymoon, or anticipating it, with every hormonally charged fiber in their bodies. After the young man compares his lady to a fruit tree and declares his intention of picking some fruit, making love, the lady responds with eager willingness. Song of Songs 7:10. I am my lover's, and he claims me as his own. Not only does she say yes, she offers an idea for enhancing the pleasure. Song of Songs 7:12. Let us get up early and go to the vineyards to see the grapevines have budded. There I will give you my love. She wants to make love outside, surrounded by the fragrance of budding flowers, and where wildflowers, pomegranates, and mandrakes, considered aphrodisiacs, give off their fragrance. And in this side note, aphrodisiac, with roots that look like a human torso, the flower mandrake was considered an aphrodisiac and fertility enhancer. The young woman in Song of Songs said she wanted to lie with her lover in a field of mandrakes. Childless Rachel, one of Jacob's 2 wives, once bought mandrake roots from the other wife, Leah, in trade. Rachel gave up her night with Jacob. The roots worked, but on the wrong woman. Leah got pregnant that night. And that's the picture of the plant they were describing. And making a comment, Song of Songs 8:6. Always keep me in your heart and wear this bracelet to remember me by. This isn't just a collection of songs about a young couple who want to make passionate love in bed in the vineyard under an apple tree, like it said in Song of Songs 8:5. And wherever else they can find a little privacy, it certainly is that. But it's more. It's about the enduring nature of love and the power love has to sustain people even after a mate has died. And what many Bible experts say is the greatest song in this Song of Songs. The young woman assures her man that the love she has for him will never die, and she asks him to make the same commitment to her. Always keep me in your heart, she says. The passion of love bursting into flames is more powerful than death, stronger than the grave. Love cannot be drowned by oceans or floods. It cannot be bought, no matter what is offered. And that is true. Many may argue that, yes, love can be bought, but no. Lust can, but not love. God is nowhere mentioned in this book, but many see him in the joy that love brings to this couple, and in the woman's declaration that love isn't something we can control or buy. It's a gift. And people of faith see God as the giver, for it was God who created people and told them, be fruitful and multiply, which was in Genesis 1:28. This is the one and only law of God that human beings have consistently obeyed with pleasure. And on this little side note, Egyptian love song, Israel wasn't the only place in Bible times where lovers quoted erotic poetry and sang intimate love songs to each other. And ancient love songs have been discovered throughout the ancient Middle East. Many of them sound like they would fit quite nicely into the Song of Songs. The following Egyptian song would work well in the Bible song if it weren't for references of a goddess. The song was written in the 1100 to 1200s BC, at least a century before Solomon. The writer calls his lover sister, just as the man in the Bible song does. And here's the Egyptian love song right here. Sister without rival, sister without rival, most beautiful of all. She looks like the star goddess rising at the start of the good new year. Perfect and bright, shining skin, seductive in her eyes when she glances, sweet in her lips when she speaks, and never a word too many. Slender neck, shining body, her hair is true lapis, her arm gathers gold, her fingers are like lotus flowers, ample behind tight waist, her thighs extend her beauty, shapely in stride when she steps on the earth. She has stolen my heart with her embrace. She has made the neck of every man turn around at the sight of her. Whoever embraces her is happy. He is like the king of lovers. And there's the song. If you want to read it. I don't know how you interpreted the book of songs, but I see it as it could be a couple on their wedding day about to go into their honeymoon or preparing for their wedding, or they could already be married and their passions are just still burning. I don't really see it as what John Wesley was saying, because if you read it, that seems a bit weird to interpret it that way, but if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I do see it as a couple with burning passion. And marriage and love are gifts from God, as long as they're not abused like they do get today. But I interpreted that as a passionate couple that truly loves each other and wants to give all of themselves to each other. But I could be interpreting it wrong. Stay blessed, stay caffeinated. Much love.